Hi everyone, my name is Phyllis and I'm the owner of Moody Quilting Fabrics. I have the big box. Those of you who have been following me on YouTube know all about this big box. Those of you who are new to this, I have in this box is loads and loads of 1.5, 2-inch strips, 2.5-inch strips, maybe even 2.25-inch strips, just strips galore. And this is all leftovers from strip piecing or bindings for past quilts that I've done. I mean, even this, look at this. So this box I've pulled out to do today's tutorial. Today's tutorial, let me just get this out of the way. Today's tutorial, we are going to be working on the Creative Grid 6-inch curvy log cabin trim tool. I have really been loving this ruler. I've done other tutorials on some of the other Creative Grid rulers, so you can check those out. I'll put the link down below for this ruler and for this pattern that calls for this ruler. Now, this is 6 inches finished, and 4 of them will make a 12-inch block if you put 4 together. They do have it in the 8-inch size, but I'm doing the tutorial on the 6-inch. Now, I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm just going to move over, and you will be able to see me up in the corner. And here is the blocks. So if you put... Let me just see if I can get these together. If you put, I only have 3, but if you put 4 together, you get a circle. If you do something like this, you can get this kind of chevron thing happening, and it's a curved. So there's lots of layouts you can come up with to play with this, this block. And I mean, this also. So you can find this. I'll put the link down below for this pattern and for this ruler. And if I have in stock or have had in stock, I know I've had it in stock. So if I have it, I will put the 8-inch link down below also. So let me just get this out of the way, the pattern, because we're not using that pattern. And we are going to start working on how this, this ruler works. So the first thing you're going to do is it tells you to cut center square, cut 1.5-inch square. Make sure that it is a perfect 1.5 inches. And then you're going to use, there's these white dotted lines here, and you're going to use that to, on the wrong side, to line up. And what I do is I put the white dotted lines along the edge of the square. Now you can see here that it comes out a little bit more, and that's okay. You're going to mark with a pen little holes here. And what I want to do is I actually want to draw a line. It just helps me a little bit. If you can eyeball from one to the next, you don't have to draw the lines. But for me, I found that it helped a little bit to make sure that that square is as close to perfect, because once you've sewn on those lines to put on your first logs, and your first logs are the most important logs to put on. So once you've done that and got them on correctly, then you will find that every other round of logs will go on much easier. All right, so once that is done, we are going to line this up. Now I want a narrow, you'll see that this is wider than this side. So I want the narrow sides at the bottom and top once I flip it. So the narrow side is here and the other narrow side is on this side. I do that on purpose. All right, so now we're going to get some fabrics that I've prepped ahead of time. And we're going to start with this one. And I've ironed this and everything. And we're just going to cut a little bit more. I rough cut these just like that. And we are going to put it there. And we are going to sew. Now this is a scant 1/4 inch, very scant. So we are going to sew on that line directly. So let's go over to the sewing machine and do that. And we are going to sew directly on that line. And I'm kind of eyeballing it. And there we are. You'll get really good at it the more you do. It's like, so let's go back to the overhead camera. And I'm going to get rid of some of these extra threads. I'm going to flip it this way and finger press this before and I do that because I want these ends to be kind of straight, or as straight as I can get. I don't want distortion on that seam. Now this one has been cut on the side because some of these strips inside that, I'm going to place it back down in the order that works best for me, and I'm going to get the next log on. There we go. I'm just rough cutting it, and I'm just going to place this as straight as possible because now I'm going to sew this way, which makes it a little harder to line up because my 1/4 inch foot on that machine is a true 1/4 inch. It's not a scant. So I have to kind of eyeball the scant. So here we go. Let's see if I can do this. I think that looks pretty good. Oh yeah. Like I said, the more you do, the better you get. All right, so let's move on back to the overhead camera, and we are going to, I'm going to trim this section off now because that we don't need that there anymore. And you can use whatever ruler is handy, closest to your hands, and just trim that off. And I'm going to finger press this as best I can. Okay, so now we have some trimming up to do. Now I need to trim this side, but we're going to use the same square that we marked our lines with, but we're not going to use the white dotted line. We are going to line up this seam allowance in the ditch and this side in the ditch against that black line. You see the black lines? We're going to just slide it in there, and we are going to just make sure that things look kind of square, and then we are going to go and square that up. There we go. So now I'm ready for the narrow log cabin logs. So I'm just going to grab some here, and I'm going to use this one, and we're going to do this side first. And again, we need to sew on that line as best we can. This one's easy because we are closest to it. So let's go over to the sewing machine and get that sewn down. There we go. And here we are. We're going to just get rid of some excess. We have nothing to trim off. It was all flat. So now I'm just going to finger press and iron it. Now we're going to put this log on. There we go. And again, this time we're going to have to start over here and kind of eyeball that edge. Okay, so let's see if I can pull that off. And like I said, the more you do, the easier. I'm just going to check something. Oh yeah, okay. Right. And there we are, right on. Oop, but I just. There we go. All right, so now we just need to trim off this little extra. This little extra we're going to trim off because we don't need it now. And we're going to finger press. Now we have what we need ready to do our first full squaring up. So I'm going to start with the round, the wide ones. So we're going to look on this. So on this ruler we have a black square that's called wide round 1, and we have another one called wide round 2, and then we have narrow round 1, narrow round 2, and round 3. Now the third round, for both the wide and the narrow, you use the white square that says center square, cut 1.5 inches, round 3, and that is your last round. So right now we are going to do the wide round 1. And we have some registration marks here, 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 and things are looking quite nice. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. And now I'm going to go ahead and turn the block, turn the ruler, look for my narrow round 1, making sure that things are lined up with the dotted lines and everything looks fairly square. And then we're just going to go ahead and trim that off. So this one now is ready to start doing the rounds. So I would put this round on first, this one, the wide one, which looks like this. See, that's looks like this, sorry. So that's this one in here, that's the same. And then we've just put these on. And now we need to put on the narrow ones for squaring up, then we can square up. So I'm just going to grab some of this, and I want to start with this one here. I want to start with the first one is this one. All right, so we're going to just line this up. Now, the beauty of this is because you have sewn on all these lines, we know that square is accurate. That first cut has squared everything up perfectly. Now we do not need to worry about lines. We just use our regular 1/4 inch foot and do whatever 1/4 inch foot our machine does. All right, so now I'm just going to cut that. And I'm just going to start here and do a regular 1/4 inch foot, a 1/4 inch. So let's go over to the sewing machine. And we're going to get this done fairly quickly now because the hard part is done, which is the first set around that little tiny square. That's our center square of the log cabin. There we go. So now we're going to switch back to the overhead camera. I'm going to get rid of some threads because we all know I hate threads. And we're going to cut this off. We don't need this anymore. And we are going to finger press and put on the next narrow log. And now we are going just to rough measure to put on the narrow log. There we are. And we're going to head over to the sewing machine. And we're just going to sew a regular 1/4 inch. Like I said, we've done all the setting up and making sure things are square to make the next 2 rounds easy to do by being extra careful on that first round. Oh, look at that. I ran out of thread. Let me just quickly change out my thread. Pop that up there. There we go. And I always like to have quite a few bobbins done with my regular sewing thread for quilting, my off-white. And I'm just going to line that back up, and there we go. Easy peasy. If you have things done ahead of time, things move fast. All right, so let's go on to the above camera. Put myself in the corner. So now I have some extra threads I really don't want there. So I'm just going to get rid of some of these. And there we go. And now we need to get rid of this excess. So that's easy. You just grab the closest ruler. And again, oh, you know what? That thread's going to show through. So we're going to get rid of that. And is there another thread here? Oh, look at that. There's another thread there. I'm just going to trim that off because it will show through. So there we go. We're going to just finger press that. And now this one is ready for squaring up. All right. So now we're on round 2. We're going to look for, we're starting to square up the wide logs. So we're going to look for the square that says wide round 2. And we're going to line that up. We're going to make sure that these are fairly lined up as best as we can. And we're just going to square this up. These rulers really make squaring up easy, making sure that you get, now we're going to turn it just like we did before. We're going to turn the ruler, we've turned the block, and we're going to look for narrow round 2. And then again, we are going to do some lining up. And here we are. Oops-a-daisy. Yes, I do say oops-a-daisy. All right, so there we are. It looks pretty square to me. And there. Now we are ready to put in our last rounds. So I think I'm going to grab this one because I think that's adorable. And we're going to start on this side here. There we go. And these last 2 rounds are fairly easy to do because we do not need to worry about worry about lining up. We just use our regular 1/4 inch foot and get on with it. So here we are. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to just flip this to the front, and we are going to get this one done. Just finishing up the last rounds, and then we're going to square. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like with four put together. Oops. There we go. We're going to finger press this one, and then we're going to iron that one. Now, if you were doing like a whole big quilt, you would do each step, a whole bunch of them, and then you would square up and prep for the next round. You do it in groupings. I think that would work. All right, so let's go over to the camera. This is all ready to go. And now we are just doing a regular 1/4 inch. Look how fast this is going. Going to get rid of the excess threads. And we need to get rid of this excess fabric right here. We want to clean up as we go, because this extra fabric, don't leave it in. It's going to just make bulk for yourself to quilt through, or for a long armor to quilt through. And it puts weight into the quilt once it's all finished. Now, there's my wide ones. Now, ooh, did you see that? I made a mistake. Look at that. I should have put it here, and I did it on this side. So let's start over again. Oh my God. Okay. All right. So I do not edit. You're going to see that. So I am going to re-square this one up and see if I can get this correct. So let's start over. So here we are, wide. We're going to square up the wide like we did on the one I just messed up. I'm going to just get this squared up quickly and then get back to putting, there we go. We're going to turn the whole quilt again, the whole block, turn the ruler, look for the second round narrow square, and make sure that the dotted slat lines are lined up, and they are. They look really, really good. So we can go ahead and trim that down. Now, let's make sure that I don't mess up on this one. It's like, all right, so we're going to start here. And I'm going to use this one. That's just the right length. Perfect. So here we are, and we're going to go ahead and hopefully I won't mess up. All right, so here we are, and we're back at the machine. And we are just going to do a 1/4 inch. We're just going to get this done. Here we are, done. And we are going to go back to the overhead camera, and I put myself in the corner because I messed up on the last one. All right, so I got rid of the excess threads, and I'm just going to finger press this before I iron it. I just find finger pressing gives me a nicer ironed log. Okay, so now I want to do this side. Oh, all right. There we go. I am on a roll. I'm on the right side. I have not messed up. All right, so here we go. And hopefully this will be all okay. I'm on the right side though. Even though I've trimmed down that excess fabric on the white side, I can undo that and flip it and put it on the other side, and the other logs will still be fine to continue with that one that I messed up on. All right, so now we're going to get rid of this excess here. And we're going to finger press and iron. There we go. And now we're just going to start doing the logs. I'm going to do this log first. That's too small. That's too small. I'm just looking for, oh, okay, this one will do the trick. Right sides together. I have a salvage edge there, so I'm going to make sure that I do not get that into my quilt. All right, so now we're going to sew this down. And actually, I'm going to do it this way. This way just lines everything up nice. And here we go. So even me, who is been quilting for 30 plus years, can make drastic mistakes by putting one of the logs on the wrong edge. All right, so now we're going to trim this off because we don't need that anymore, and we certainly don't want to leave it in because it's going to show through the white. And I like to clean up my blocks, making sure that my seam allowances all look nice. And I'm going to finger press that, and then I'm going to quickly iron. Now we're going to put on the last log now, and I'm going to show you how it, where are we? Oh, there we are. All right, so now I'm going to put on the last log, and then I'm going to show you how to square up the last round. All right, so let's head off and get the last of this sewn down. And of course, my threads are everywhere. There we go. I'm going to just put needle down because I'm going to have to lift the foot again when I get here. Yeah, see? This way it will stop with the needle down. There we go, needle up, and last log is done. Oh, I forgot to switch it over. I'm sorry, I forgot to switch it over to the camera. Anyways, you know how the machine works. So, trying to do this. All right, so now, just let me make sure I'm on. Technical problems. All right, let me just put myself up in the corner so you can actually see me. Hi. All right, so we're just going to get rid of these excesses that we don't need. And we're going to do this side. And I'm just using whatever ruler is available. We're just kind of squaring it up a little bit there to line it up with the seam allowance. Now I'm going to just go ahead and get this finger pressed before I iron this. And here we are. Now we need to square this up. And again, we are going to start with the wide ones. Now, to do that, we also, this is third round, so we need to find the round 3 and make sure that we have the ruler pointing in the right direction for the wide logs. So I have it straightened there, I have it straight there, and it's pretty straight along here and this way. It's just a little off here and here, but that's okay. If my log cabin, curvy log cabin, looks a little wonky, I don't care. I'm easy that way. Oops, it is. It shifted on me and we don't want that. All right, that's better. All right, the first logs are cut. We're going to turn like we've done before. We're going to turn the ruler and then place that white square back into place. Now I want to make sure that this 1/4 inch is lined up, which it is. And I'm making sure that this is, and these lines look as close to as possible. And here we are, done. So I'm super, super pleased. Let me just move some stuff out of the way and let me pull in. Now, if we do this and we sew these together like this, we get this circle. Isn't that cool? Now we can do something like that, and we get this kind of other chevron thing, right? So you can kind of just continue it. Let's see what this looks like. So this looks like the ice cream. Let me see, where's that? Does that look like one of these? This one? It does, except we have the reds here. So it just, these, if this was the dark color like this and this was the white like this, then we would get that look. But it's, you know, it gives a different, you could have one there, so you could really play and do other looks. So you could have these curves offset throughout. So that's kind of cool. So there's lots of, and then there's this. We can do like, is it like that? No. Nope. So this would go down here somewhere. So yeah, so this, yeah, this is there. Let's just put it there. So this would give you another thing happening. So this is really fun block. This is the log cabin, curvy 6-inch curvy log cabin trim tool from Creative Grid. All your markings are there. It comes with instructions. So you have all your instructions. When you start working on this ruler, do one block to make sure you understand how it all works before you do any cutting. And once you figured it out, it will go really, really smoothly. So that is it. That is, let me just lay this back out one more time. And there, that's what it would look like if you put them all in a circle. So much fun. There is an 8-inch curvy log cabin also. And I have other creative grid rulers that I'm planning to do some tutorials with. So I hope that that you will subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when I upload. I try to upload a video every week on the Friday morning. So we'll see you on the next tutorial. Have a great day. Bye-bye.